Need for Madness, a Flash game that I discovered during my childhood that remains to this day my favourite Flash game. Why? Well, let me explain. The original Need for Madness is a racing game released in 2005 consisting of 11 races of varying length of difficulty, along with 10 different cars to suit multiple playstyles. I'll get to that in a second. However, what made Need for Madness stand out to my tiny fetus brain was the implementation of a fully fledged real-time soft-body collision engine.
That's not good.
This was in 2005, playable within a browser. I know AAA titles released almost 10 years later that didn't bother with that. Looking at you, Gran Turismo. Speaking of physics, the physics in this game are strange.
What?
For the most part, your car will handle fine, but if you mistime a turn, or land awkwardly, or clip the corner of a car, within seconds your vehicle will apply military-grade butter to its wheels and go on a frictionless journey to God knows where.
Man, the vibes in this level are immaculate. Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Also, some props in the levels have different ideas of what it means to be a solid object, but I guess that's all part of the fun. This is 2005 after all. On top of this, the game also had a unique stunt system reminiscent of the old Tony Hawk games in order to gain power and speed. Fling your car into the air and perform stunts to earn a temporary speed boost. The more complex the trick, the more boost you get given back. What impressed me at my ripe old age of 10 was that regardless of how you flipped or flopped in the air, the game would always have a name for whatever stunt you just pulled off. Well, unless you even managed to confuse the game.
Hey, I got it.
Like any other racing game, your goal was to drive through the checkpoints and win the race. Obviously, why did I spell that out? However, if you didn't fancy racing, in a racing game, there was another way to win. Waste your competition and you win by default as you're the only one left. You complete monster.
You'll do.
With these two playstyles in mind, you immediately double the replayability before you've even started. That's pretty good. I'm going to talk you through the entire game in this video, and as I go through, I'll be creating a tier list for the cars, as well as commenting on the soundtrack. That might seem strange, but believe me when I say that the soundtrack alone is worth giving this game a go. Let us begin.
Cars.
When you start out, you have access to the first track and a small selection of starter cars. You notice that other cars are locked until you complete subsequent levels. Within the levels, there is a car that starts in pole position that you don't have access to yet. Because of this, I consider that locked car as sort of a mini-boss. You'll see what I mean, but here are the starting cars. Tornado Shark, front-heavy car, not very fast, but won't die immediately. Kind of meh. D tier.
It is possible to do well with Tornado Shark, it's just really boring. Oh wow.
Nimmy. It's a waste of space. Not fast, not tanky, it can go in poo tier. F7. Well, Formula 7. It's the fastest car in the game, however I'm pretty sure it's made of paper, not beginner friendly, and you will die a lot.
Sneak through here please, boys. Never mind.
However, it is one of the only early game cars once you get good that's still viable in the later levels. A tier. Wow, Canonaro. It's a Jeep. Rear heavy, not fast, but can waste the early game cars pretty effectively. However, the mid game renders this car completely obsolete. Pretty average. C tier. Levita Crab. Flat, fast, handles well. Honestly, it's a solid pick. Until you unlock the very first mini-boss. Then it is thrown into the bin, never to be seen again. B tier. Stage 1, the introductory stage. This stage is easy, it's just a loop. Drive through the checkpoints, do stunts to increase your speed, waste F7 and fly through the hoop of to ensure survival. Or if you're playing as WoW Canonaro, wreck everyone to win. Do that within 4 laps and job's a good one. The mini-boss at this stage is Max Revenge, a really well-balanced car with good handling, decent health and great looks. Definitely not inspired by Mad Max, no definitely not, go away. Great all-rounder though, and a personal favourite of mine. It can go in A tier. The music here sets the scene. It's not the best song, but it's still good. Let's move on. Stage 2. Contrary to popular belief. This stage introduces another interesting mechanic that I've not talked about yet. You see those roads?
Yes!
Yeah, you don't need them. If you choose, you can be a strong independent car and ignore them and completely gain the advantage. Flip or wreck your way to victory and you'll have Max Revenge all to yourself. I also noticed that if you don't play as WoW Canonaro, its AI becomes way more aggressive in this level. You've been warned. Ooh! On another note, the music in this level is amazing. I'm using the music from each track to demonstrate this, and this one is, it's up there for me. Stage 3, do the snake dance. This level is long, 7 laps to be precise. This track also introduces the next mini-boss, Lead Oxide. This car is tougher than Max Revenge and far more capable of giving out some serious damage if you're not careful. Strangely, the axis of rotation for this car is at the rear, making for some interesting handling in the air. B tier. If you decide to go for the racing route for this level, prepare for all cars to be extremely hostile. This level also introduces the feature that the healing hoop of doesn't need to be part of the track, so if you're taking a beating, then you've got to be strategic so you don't fall behind. The music on this level is also pretty great, matches the mood of heightened anxiety well. Next level. Stage 4, Grapefruit Flower. I'll be honest, I hate this level. It's not the worst, but it's long and drawn out. It's the last stage you'll need in order to unlock lead oxide, but in order to win this stage without wasting everyone, you need a good start on this one lap race. Otherwise, you'll be forever playing catch up, and that's not fun. Also, thanks to the state of the track, you can't easily skip corners for fear of missing a checkpoint. Music, however, is pretty great. It's the one saving grace of this stage. Stage 5, he's coming for you now. If I ever wanted to illustrate my childhood PTSD from this game, I present to you this level. 9 laps, it's a simple track. Lead oxide in your possession, what could go wrong? El King is the first dedicated waster car that you come across. He doesn't conform to the rules and will often completely abandon checkpoints to ensure that you suffer a fiery death. This stage often becomes a metal graveyard if you choose to race this one. The counter of wasted cars creeps up slowly, and soon it will just be you and him. Oh, I see what they did with the title. I also noticed that if you make it to the final 2 laps, anyone still alive will immediately make a beeline to f*** your shit up. Many hours were spent in my childhood anxiously checking my bag, only to be sent spinning into a fireball thanks to Big Chungus over there. The music in this level, however, is top notch, matches the tone perfectly. Stage 6, Pananero Canonero, Let's Fly. This level is great. It's the first level that introduces the chunky ramps, and you can rack up some serious Tony Hawk style stunts on these. This level also sees El King completely lose the plot and go into a psychotic rage, driving the opposite way around the track in order to waste as many people as possible. If you plan on racing this track, then I recommend F7. If you've made it this far, I'll assume you're pretty good with him. However, once you complete this level, you unlock El King. Using this car to waste opponents can be really fun as you're built like a brick house. Just don't bother trying to race with him because he moves about as fast as a glacier. C tier. For all the trauma that this thing inflicted on me. The music in this level is also one of the best, but I mean, who doesn't love a retro remix of the Pet Shop Boys? Stage 7, when in danger, just chill out. This level for racing is partly because this level sees the introduction of Radical 1, a car with the speed of F7 but isn't made of Pringles. As well as this level contains some pretty hefty obstacles that the AI tends to completely misjudge and waste themselves on. I get the impression that this is supposed to encourage wasting for the player given that you now have access to El King, but honestly you could probably just win this level by sitting back and watching the carnage unfold. The music is good, but forgettable. How forgettable? I've already forgotten. Next stage. Stage 8, the Fast and Furious, and the Radical. This stage really demonstrates just how fast Radical 1 is, and how off the rails El King is, if you're not playing as him. This is a level where I recommend diving back into the earlier game cars again and choosing F7. If wasting is more your style, then this level is a pain. It's big, round, and the AI can easily escape. My pro gamer advice, use F7, take the smaller jumps to keep your power to the max, otherwise Radical 1 will just eat you for breakfast. Speaking of Radical 1, once this level is done, you've unlocked him. Honestly, this car is everything you wish F7 had. Just great. I love it. S tier, no questions asked. The music is up at the top of my list. Very dreamy, very nostalgic. Good stuff.
Late game.
Stage 9, the Beach Arcade Dream. We're now approaching the end. You've unlocked Radical 1 and are immediately met with a ramp-heavy map and a new mini-boss, Dr. Monster. This guy means business. He's like El King's big brother but with a higher top speed. Not someone you want to mess with. If wasting is more your style but you don't fancy driving a house, then look no further. Top speed rivals Radical 1 and the beefed up health makes for a great time regardless of playstyle. A tier. The level also has half pipes as ramps that look fun but often like to damage you instead. Using anything other than Radical 1 for racing is a death wish. The music is also really intense, but it gives me a headache thanks to the fact that the song is short and therefore starts looping after a while. Not a fan. Stage 10, Confusion in an Illusion. I feel like this level is the outcome of the developer thinking, what should I put in this race? Yes! It's a spaghetti bolognese in race form and honestly can be very frustrating, especially given the fact that this level does away with the handy arrows to guide you to your next checkpoint. The cars are extra hostile if you choose to race this one, however it can be fun to waste your way to victory if you can get through Dr. Monster. Music is also pretty climactic, very fitting. However, given the length of this level, if you race it, it gets very repetitive once again. You have been warned. Stage 11, The Mad Party. We've made it. One final hurrah. You've unlocked Dr. Monster and are now faced with a tiny track, no healing hoops, and cretins to smash. This level is a lot of fun and really rounds off the game nicely. Can be fun to try and beat this level using Nimmy, but honestly you'd need to be a complete psycho to do that. The music is also up top in my opinion. It sounds triumphant with a hint of bittersweetness as this game comes to a close. Or maybe that's just the rose-tinted glasses talking, I don't know.
The end.
If you've made it this far, then I hope you've enjoyed it. I know this is quite different to my usual content, but I've tinkered away with this video in the background for like a year now. If you haven't tried the game, then I will leave a link to the download page in the description. Unfortunately, you can't play it in a browser anymore, but the original developer has left a download for us all, Windows, Mac and Linux included. Very nice. Let me know what you make of my car tier list. Keep in mind that what I presented is in fact fact and can't be argued with. But that's all. See you next time. Goodbye.